everybody, my name is Lucy and I'm based in Gainsborough of Lincolnshire, England. But today I am not in Gainsborough, Lincolnshire. I am in the Peak District in Thirkelow on day one of a sewing retreat. Sewing retreat? I thought I was here to talk about knitting, you say. Well, that's right. So I am a designer based in England. I design patterns that are mainly bags. I do quilts as well and such like. I'm a dressmaker. I have my own sewing studio where I teach people. I run sort of community groups, retreats, things like that. I work on TV for Sewing Street TV, where I take all of my new designs. And I am a fabric designer for Craft Cotton Company. But alongside all of my sewing journey, which like I say is what I'm here to do this weekend, along with a little bit of nitty, is I am a lover of the yarn. I love yarn. I just do. I can't help it. In fact, one of my fabric designs was based on my love of yarn. Did I say my fabric yarn? One of my fabric collections is based on my love of yarn. I just love it. What is it? On my way to Thirkelow today, you come down this track. It's like a really little track. And all the sheepies were there. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me lovely things to wear all of the time. You're doing a great job, especially when you're out in the battering winds out there. But no, I did actually also pull over to say, should you be on the side of the fence? I'm worried about you. Please move over there. Be safe. Mummies, look after your children. But anyway, enough of that weird stuff. I did though. I am here to tell you all about some yarn that I am going to be using. I can't wait. But oh, let me show you. Cast off. I casted this off last night. When I arrived, I'm like, I am finishing my colour knit because I might be cold here because I'm a cold-blooded girl. Let's get it on my body today. Let me tell you people, I'm hot. It's an alpaca. Isn't it stunning? I just love it so much. I've been knitting it a little while now, but only because I keep putting on hold while I work on other priorities. Because this is my knit. This is my selfish knit, you know. So but I'm wearing it today, and I've got joggy pants on. Joggy pants. I don't wear joggy pants, but I do today because I just want to be comfy. I want to be comfy on this beautiful, beautiful, windy, wild day out there. Anyway, one of my knits I'm currently working on is the Op Art shawl, and it is all over lace shale pattern. And I got the kit from a company called Blacker Yarns. I'd never heard of them before. And I just sort of, you know, when you like doom scrolling, and I came across it and I'm like, ooh, who are they? And there was just something about it that just pulled me in. And I saw that pattern and I wanted to do it. Now I ordered 3 skeins and it's DK weight, if I remember rightly. I think that's right. And it arrived, oh, the colours, they're just amazing. In fact, why don't we pop in a picture here so you can have a little look at my shawl. I'm still on the way through it. I'm over the halfway mark with it now. It's got a long way to go. It's got a wingspan of over 2 meters, but it's quite an easy knit. It's a kind of knit that I would teach people. If you can knit and if you can purl, come to me. I will show you how to knit this shawl. It looks more complicated than it is, and it's my knit that I pick up when I don't want to think about it. It's a bit like knitting stockinette in the round, going around and around and around. That's what that shawl is. It's great. So yeah, that's how I got sort of pulled into Blacker Yarns, and then I started looking into them and what they stood for. Now, I really believe in supporting obviously small businesses, but I also really appreciate those businesses that can demonstrate how they are working to support and look after other businesses around them too. And they certainly do, because what they actually do is they are completely British wool providers. They've got a mill in Cornwall, and that is where they do obviously all of their spinning. But where their fleeces come from, the breeders that they're working with are up and down the UK. And what I find really interesting is, if you ever gone on the websites and you're looking for some yarn to buy, and you'll maybe go to DK or you'll go to Aran or Finger and Weight, and then you'll look at what they've got on offer. You can obviously do that here too, but actually what you can do as well is you can choose in the search box to choose by sheep type. And I think that's really good. So you can go in and you can type in Guernsey, for example, and it will bring up the yarns that they sell, and then it will tell you where it came from within the UK. So you can really trace it back to its roots. And I love that. I really, really like that. So if you are really into supporting these sort of smaller mills that rely on repeat customers really, and loyalty, brand loyalty, then I would highly recommend you go take a look at Blacker Yarns. Their palette is beautiful. It is absolutely my cup of tea. I'm looking out at the Peak District there, and I'm seeing my greens and my mosses and my rust colours and my ecru colours. They're all there. I'm seeing all the sheep in their creams. That's the palette that they're doing, and they are doing it extremely well. But they're also continuing to develop on their colours and bring us new choices to the market. But it is absolutely beautiful. Now, they reached out to me and they said, would you be interested in using some of our yarn, giving it a bit of a go? And absolutely, let's do this. And they said, we're going to send you some Guernsey 5-ply yarn. So a 5-ply is what we might otherwise call a sport weight. And they said, look, we've got some colours in we'd like you to consider using. Could you possibly choose from 3 colours? It was a grey, it was an undyed, and it was like a, I want to say fawn kind of colour. Oh, I don't know. But I looked at the yarn and I said, well, although I love all of this texture and detail, trust me, I do. I would like to see this as a bit of an experiment to see how well does it do the basics right, because if you start out knitting, you're not going to start knitting colour work. You're not going to start knitting doing texture. I mean, if you do, bravo you, but most people won't. They're going to go for something that's actually relatively plain and simple, or that's how it would look. And if we do that, it's going to show up all of our errors, all of our unevenness in our knitting. It might show micro flaws in the yarn, things like that. So what I'd like to do, because I'm a bugger, is test that. I want to know, what does this stitch definition look like when I'm working on it in a very plain, simple way. So I said, I'm not going to use a grey because I think the other 2 colours, they're much lighter. I'd like to choose one of those. So they said, well, let's surprise you. And they sent the post out to me, and they sent me 4 skeins of undyed. Now, I have never used a colour like this before. I'm scared of it, is the truth. I don't know if it will suit me, but that isn't what I'm here for. I'm not testing, does a colour suit me? I'm testing, what is this like when it's knitted up? How well will those stitches stand out? Is this the quality that I would expect from a company like Blacker Yarns? So that's what I'm going to do. So I have already caked some of this up, and it's beautiful. It's a painting waiting to happen. Now, if you look at my flax and fibres range, my fabric range, you'll see that these are the kind of paintings that I did and I incorporated into my artwork that became fabric in the end. And this, to me, I just think is beautiful. I just love the pattern that it creates. But this is already starting to give me an indication of what the wear is going to look like when it's knitted up into stitches. Are they going to look even or not? I mean, obviously some of that ownership is on me, don't get me wrong. This is not all about the yarn. I have to be good at this too. And I do regard myself as a reasonable knitter. Did I mention I've got a cast off? So I'm excited to get this on. Now, I'm not going to lie. I saved myself one hank thinking, wouldn't it be beautiful if the weather is good enough to go outside with that beautiful backdrop and wind away and get it on. We live in England, Lucy, and it's November. Come on, lashing it down out there, so that's not going to happen. Anyway, so it's 100% British wool. It's 232 metres to 100 grams on this one. So I needed 4 skeins to make the sweater that I plan on doing. The sweater that I'm going to do is part of the Lovely Day Knits knit along for the month of October and November that I'm going to be working on. And it's a sweater I am partway through knitting already for my mum. So it looks relatively simple, but there's some nice details in it. It's a Kutavikika knit along. So some of you may already follow Veronica Lindberg. I'm a huge fan of her patterns. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I've got lots in the pipeline and done lots of hers. But the coffee run sweater, let me just show you a little bit of a close-up. What we've got is we've got a twisted rib on the collar, on the hemline and on the cuffs. Then we've got some raglan details. Oh, let me go in close. I'm sure there's another close-up photo here. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong sweater. Silly, silly girl. Right. That's her. Twisted rib, collar, hem and cuffs, as I mentioned. But then on the raglan, front and back, left and right, we've got this detail in here. And it runs down the raglan, all the way down the side of the body. And then it blends into that hemline. So it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, we can see it there in grey. That is what I'm seeking to achieve out of this beautiful undyed 5-ply Guernsey yarn. So that is going to be my knit of November. I'm going to be casting on today. So I hope you're going to follow me on my knit project journey. So if this sounds like your cozy cup of tea, 12 minutes into the video, then please do stay with me. Now, did you know that Blacker Yarns have actually got a YouTube channel of their own? It's definitely worth going on that because I've had a little bit of a look myself. They talk about their yarns. So as they're bringing out new products, etc., or whether it's a new pattern or whether it's a new kit, they will introduce it on their YouTube channel. And they are looking to increase their videos too, so more content will come. So do go over, give them a like and a subscribe, press the bell so it gives a little ring when they upload something new to that library. Definitely worth giving them a little follow. And of course, they are on Instagram too and Facebook. They're always uploading content there with people's makes and all that sort of lovely goodness. You're obviously going to see me on there because I keep showing off my op-art shawl. No shame involved. And obviously, if you I'd be super grateful if you would obviously continue to follow me by subscribing to my YouTube channel too. And of course, I'm on Facebook, So Pretty, So Mindful, for all of my website details, everything I'm up to in my sewing world, as well as my knitting. And all these details are obviously going to be down below in the box, along with timestamps for this video. So now it's time for me, maybe to freshen up the coffee, but definitely to get my needles and get on with a bit of cast on. So now that I have wound all of the yarn on, apart from one hank, I'm just keeping it to one side for now, it comes a bit that I have to decide, well, I'm a bag designer, aren't I? So of course I need a bag to put my woolly stuff in, and I got to choose which bag to use. So I just went through my rail, and there was one bag I made a while ago now that I love. One of the first designs I ever made was a Warwick bag, which is a big knitting bag. I don't need a big knitting bag for this project. It's going to be quite small. And I made one which I call like the baby version, like the mum-daughter kind of version, called Woodlows, which is a really cute bag. So I pulled that one out. I thought I'd just quickly show you. So this is Woodlows. It is a smaller size, but it's still got everything in it that I need for a project like this. First of all, I've used oilcloth, so it's water shower resistant, and I love oilcloth. The pockets are mainly on the outside, so we've got a big slip pocket down the front here, then we've got a pop-up pocket here, and then a zip pocket all here, so I can keep all of my notions and bits and bobs in there. And then inside we've got a long slip pocket in there and this removable keyring. So I'm going to go ahead and put my yarn in here, and then this project is almost ready for when I will go away to Thirkelow next week, where I'm planning on doing a cast on. If I could wait till then, I'm so excited. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'm ready. What a day. I've had a great first day here. The light's starting to come down now. It's 4:25. It didn't start raining all of the day. I really thought we might get out for a little bit of a walk or something, but absolutely not. Tomorrow we might, well, we're not going out. We're not going now. I don't know who I'm kidding. It's the sheep are wet, bless their hearts. But it's what they're built for, isn't it? What they need to be is waterproof. And it brings me back to this yarn, doesn't it? Because do you remember, did I say earlier on that the main thing about these yarns is that they are waterproof? So the way they all sort of knit and merge together, polish has come off, the way all knit and merge together makes them sort of like water resistant. So you got to remember, when you're feeling sorry for them sheep, they are water resistant. They're going to be all right. But in this case of what I'm knitting, I want it to be a little bit airier, a little bit of a sort of a softer feel. And I was going to be doing the cast on. Now, before I did the cast on, what I did do is I brought one of the project away with me to focus on, and I've got a backup project, which is sewing related to me. I kind of wanted to play with. But the project that I'm also working on at home in the evenings on the sofa so I can be present with my husband is some English paper piecing, otherwise known as EPP. And I'm making something called the Tula Nova. And I have managed to complete the first section today with all of my out of print taller pink fabrics. Can you see they've got all little faces in them? See this one here? So cute. These are all little bears. So lots of fussy cutting involved, but I've been working on that. So I just wanted to show you that, and I've got some pictures here of me working on it. And then when I'd completed that stage, it felt like, right, okay, well, we've had lunch now, we've finished that bit, let's get cracking on that collar. So I picked up my needles, and you'll see some footage. I did a bit of casting on, and I focused really hard on making sure I didn't twist those stitches when it came to join them in the round. Sat on the sofa, and I got on and I did my twisted rib. Let me come closer. And here it is. Now, I did say, didn't I? What I was really interested to know is, what's this stitch definition going to be like? And it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It is even, it is crisp, it's nicely, I don't know if I can focus any better than that. It's just coming out so very well. It's everything that I hope for. Stretching well. It feels nice in my hands. So obviously it's a British wool. So we're not talking about merinos here. It's not going to glide through my fingers. But even so, I mean, you can see it's got a little bit of halo on here, but it's beautiful. It knits incredibly well. It feels secure in my hands. It's coming off the cake, no problem whatsoever. Really happy with it. So now, I think I said I was doing a double fold neckline. I'm not. I don't know what pattern I was talking about. What I'm actually going to be doing now is moving on to a 5mm needle, and I'm going to be doing two things at the same time. The first thing is I'm going to be placing my markers in a setup round. So I will have 8 markers, 2, 2, 2 and 2, and that will start shaping where the increases need to be for the raglan. So the increase will happen here and across the sleeve to make it wider. And of course I will be doing German short rows. So in this jumper you can see here we've got this increase of white here, and on the back, let me see if I can turn around. Ooh, see if that works. You should be able to see a crescent of white. Can you see the crescent? Yeah, you can see the crescent. And that is to create extra fabric so that the sweater doesn't sit up like this in a really awkward way, but in fact it works down the curve of my back to create lovely shape and drape. So I'm going to be working on that. So I'm going to be doing the increases whilst also keeping track on paper of where the German short rows need to be. So I'm going to go swap my needles now. I'm with a group of ladies. So I need to think about that and what my brain can cope with, and it might well be that I take myself upstairs for a little while I get things established and I'm feeling much more secure in my knitting, found my rhythm, and I'm able to then knit again in company. So that's where I'm at. So I will catch up with you very soon. So I am on day 2 of my retreat. I had my second night's sleep last night and it was lovely. So tonight will be my final night, and then tomorrow I'll be getting up, doing a bit of sorting, maybe a little bit of knitting, and then I shall be heading home to my boys and my puppy. But I have been working on the German short rows part of the knit. There's some footage to show you. I was working in bed last night. So this is where I'm at with the short rows. I started working on them. However, working on a short rows when you've got lots of other people around you, chitter-chattering away, didn't end well. So what I did is we had a bead maker with us. And I said to her, look, could you do me a favour, please? I need stitch markers, but not normal stitch markers, because we've got a beginning of round and then we've got placements 1 through to 8. And I can use markers, that's fine. But what I can't remember when you're doing a short row and you're working like that is the number sequence and order. You get very, very confused. And that's where I went and got things wrong. So she made me some markers. Oh, typical. I've had to switch them over for another reason. But I've got some photos to show you actually of them in situ. What I did is I pulled the knitting back to the neckline here, like so. Oh, this is my storm sweater, by the way. Back to the neckline here. Established where the stitch markers wanted to be again with the numbers and the stitch marker that said BR, beginning round, not beginning round. And then I sat in my bed and I knitted, and I got halfway there. Went to bed. This morning I've got up and I've completed it, and it's that I'm here to show you about today. So, and I've got some other little stitch markers in right now. The other ones just need a bit of repair basically, because it was the first time doing it for this lady who was making them just for me as I wanted them. I've gone back and said, look, can we just have some little tweaks here and there and let's get it right? Absolutely, let's do it. So I'm going to be bringing some more in and putting them into my shop, which is kind of exciting too. But these are other little cute ones that she's done for me as well. Little sets of 10 of these, which are all really cute ones. I like them. They remind me of little sweeties when we were children. We used to pick our 10p mix with our 1p's or those half-p sweets you could get. Anyway, I digress. So the point is I have finished my short row shaping. So we've got beginning of round is this red one here. Keep slipping a stitch off there. Beginning of round there. And then this will be the front of the neck. So no shaping on the neck here. We've started doing increases for our sleeves here and here. We are doing increases here and here to grow the front section. And of course, we've got our increases here and here to grow the back section, whilst also creating the depth that we need to create shape as it comes down the back of our neck and into our spine area. So let's give you a quick review of the yarn so far. Now, remember what I said, not all these things are about the yarn, it's about the user. So anything that you see at the minute that looks a little bit, oh, the tension might be a little bit off, that's definitely about me. I've chosen not to unpick in different places because I know already, being an experienced knitter, it's going to block out beautifully. It's very, very smooth to work with. It's opening up how I wanted it to. So you can see my fingers through it. That's what I wanted for this knit. It's meant to be a little bit drapier. It's meant to move. It's not going to have negative ease. It's not going to stick to my body. So we don't mind that going through there. It's going to make it a really comfortable wear and not too hot. Like this is a hot jumper, you know, it's thick, tightly knitted. This isn't. It's a bigger needle. I'm using a 5mm and it's opening up quite nicely. So I'm excited with how it's going. So now all I'm going to do is enjoy these views, which hopefully we've got some footage to show you of where I am right now. It's not raining. And now I'm going to start knitting in the round whilst we establish more of the sleeves and more of the raglan growth all the way down to go on and do the yoke. So for this afternoon, my plans are, I've had my lunch. I am going to do a little bit of English paper piecing on my Tula Nova. And then I'm going to come back to this. And I'm not bedroom sharing tonight. My partner in crime's going home. So I might well do a little bit of knitting in bed as well if the lighting is good enough. But I'm really pleased with how it's coming on. I think it's cute. So I will catch up with you when we move on just a little bit further. So we've got a yoke. So all the yoke of the sweater has now been knit. So let me show it you. I've had to put it onto a longer cable now, and that's really helped sort of see what we've got. But this is it. So we are on Saturday lunchtime now, and I cast this on is it Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So not bad innings, I don't think. I have tried it on, and I am going to do a few more rows because I think it just needs bringing down just a little bit. I've got some photos with me just trialing it, which we'll just pop in here for you to have a look at. But I just want to talk through what's happening with this knit and a few sort of initial thinkings with it. So we've got some irregular spots in the knitting. I think I may have mentioned this already. To me, this looks a little bit irregular, sort of like around here. But again, I know that a wash in a block is going to sort that out right. What I don't like about this knit, and it's bugging me, but again, I've had a little pause and a think about this, is we did short row shaping all around the back and to the front. And on the front, where it kind of starts and ends, it's got this, don't worry about that dimple, that'll smooth, but it's got these stitches here that I don't like. And I can't really see there. I feel like it's created, there we go. It's looser and it looks just a little bit holy. So I'm not really happy with that. And then I remembered, obviously I've done this for my mum, so I've gone back and had a look at hers. So I might just quickly pop that on to show you what I mean. Bear with. Right, so a couple of things to mention before we talk about this at all. One, it's a different size. Two, it's a different yarn. So this is the knitting for olive yarn. So very different, and it is a bigger size. The other thing to say is I have knit all of the body and it's been blocked, so I could have a look at the issue that I'm going to show you now on the cream. But you can see it better on this one. This is that stitching area that I was talking about. And these are those tiny little holes, which I don't like. But there's nothing that I can do. So I'm thinking my choices are quite limited, if I'm honest with you. On this one, I was going to have a look at whether I could do some surgery just to close them up just a little bit and then accept that they're there. I did think, what would happen if I pull back and do it all again? The truth is, the proof's in the pudding. I've already done it once and I've got the same outcome between the white and the cream. So it's just, dare I say it, I think it's something to do with the pattern, and I'm just going to have to live with it now. The other thing about the pattern as well is where you do this section here, it's always loose here. And at first I thought maybe I could tighten it up on the cream, but no, it's loose again on this area here. So I just think it's the pattern and it's what I've got to run with. This is a lovely pattern though. You can see how it runs all down the side. it could be different. The amount you do around here is dependent on the size you're doing. I am working on the small for me. This is a medium for my mum's. And on my mum's, I had to block it quite a bit because realistically, I should have gone up a size for her. Obviously, this is lovely on me, but, quite roomy. Again, I'm not comparing the sizings or anything like that between the two sweaters because they are entirely different yarns. So let me go back to that one and I'll pop it on so you can see it. So there we go. It's looking all right. Now, again, I think another difference is I think on that one, I may have done a different type of cast on. And this is long tail. No, it told me to do a long tail. So that would have been a long tail, but it just feels a little bit higher. But again, I'm hoping that when it's blocked, I can pull that down just a little bit because it does sit a little bit high. If I've got a shirt on with the collar coming over, it'll be absolutely fine. Otherwise, I think I might just be fiddling a little bit. I do think it needs to come down just a little bit to about there. And I think I can probably force stretch that, to be honest. So I'm wearing dark underwear, which doesn't help, does it? But you can see it's looking nice. I'm pleased with it. It's definitely a cute little sweater that's going to work well in the wardrobe. See these little areas? I mean, everything's showing up, obviously. But these little areas here, those are all going to not iron, they're going to even out in the blocking. I'm not at all troubled by that. And what we want is to open just a little bit and then even less noticeable. So I'm pleased with that. I'm just going to do a few more rows just to bring it down just a little bit more before I join in the round. But yeah, on to the next step. We'll do 3 rounds, maybe 5, and then we will be putting all the sleeves on hold and just stocking it around and around and around. So that's where I'm at. That's all I've got left of 100 grams. So I will soon be ready for a new one. So there we go. That's all I can tell you for now. It got cold very fast over here in the UK. And I've just been out for a little while, having some lunch out, having some coffee and a bit of a poodle around. It's the Christmas light switch on today. And I am back home now with the fire on, hot water bottle on my lap. I'm so cold. And there's just Hannah and I home. Hayden's upstairs playing his guitar. And I thought I'd better do just a very quick update because I am now working on the hem of the coffee run sweater. I'm still a little bit plagued by the irregularity that I can see in the yarn, but I'm still keeping that faith that everything's going to be just fine when it goes through the blocking process. The only thing I'd say is that, and I know I've made this before, so I don't know why I've forgotten now, but I've gone from a number 5 needle down to a number 3, and it feels incredibly tiny on the hem. So I hope that's all going to be okay. So yeah, I'm just going to keep carrying away. I'm on day 12 now of this knit. In terms of the knit along, the Kutubakika knit along, that's due to end the end of November. Hannah's listening. And I think that I can do it. I think I can get all of this done by the end of November. I am still working on my shawl, just a few rows here and there, about 8 rows a day on the shawl. But I do need to stay quite focused on this because I've got to then move straight on back to the Christmas knitting. So I'm going to make the most of having the afternoon to myself. I'm watching a bit of YouTube right now. I'm watching Sydney Graham today. And I'm going to carry on working on this hem. So I will catch up with you very soon. I have a cast off. The hem is done. Yay. I have been going around and around and around and around and around. But it's done. So now, isn't it nice? Twisted rib. I'm pleased with that. So now it's time to think about the sleeves. So I'm thinking, I've got it on barber cord. I'm going to get it straight on and I'm going to start knitting straight away. No rest tonight. I'd like to do some EPP, English paper piecing, but I'm going to get it on the needles, pick up the stitches on the underside and get a few rows in and established. And then that will feel like a good evening's work. In terms of the knitting, the yarn that I've got left out of my 400 grams, I've got all of this left. Oh, So I will be able to knit the sleeves part way down, stop, back onto the barber cables, pick up the other sleeve, get that to the same, and then just see how far I go. Exciting. Catch up soon. I am about to join my last skein, and I'm on the final half of the final sleeve. It's going to be finished this weekend. You watch. It's going to be blocked very soon. Well, it is done. There's been a little bit of a gap between when I last recorded and now. And that is mainly because I got very immersed in the knit in the end. I was knitting for miles on the body, and then I did the hem, and then I picked straight up for these sleeves so I didn't get stuck on any sleeve island. And then I was just super involved in that. And I set myself this deadline then that by the end of this week, I wanted to have done one sleeve. Next week would be the second sleeve. But quite frankly, I cracked on, I got it done, and it just flew in the end. So I just went with it. I just ran with it. And then as soon as I finished, straight into the washing up bowl, soaking, blocking. The heating was on, so I had it on the blocks, but then I leant the blocks against a radiator. And that was all yesterday. So it's dried incredibly fast. I haven't blocked it quite as I normally would do, which you can tell, but I'm happy with that. But it's allowed me to get it on my body today. So I'm here today and able to talk to you. So let's go into the details, shall we? I'm not going to talk necessarily about the knitting pattern. I'll tell you a little bit about that because I've already kind of talked about it at the start. So as you know, I've done the Coffee Run sweater, which I did in line with the Lovely Day Knits Kutavikika Knit Along Challenge, which was for the month of November and December. So I cast this on the 4th of November and I cast off on the 23rd of November. So it's gone quite quick, really. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's whizzed by. So now I've got something to submit into the challenge. That's great. That was like my thing that I wanted to do, just like for me. And then of course, then I was given the yarn from Blacker Yarns, so I could give an honest review of it. And honest is definitely what I've given all the way through. Now, I suppose the first thing that I wanted to say was I wanted to talk about the itchy factor and how it sort of evened out or didn't as we went along. So I can't hide from the fact that as I was working with it, it did feel quite rough in my hands. It is definitely a rustic yarn. So the question was it going to bother me when it's on the body? Now, let me just put my cut down. I am wearing a vest. That is it. And it is on my body and it doesn't bother me at all. It is so comfy. There is not one bit of itch in it. It has softened beautifully. Now I use soak rather than the I've forgotten what the other one is that I normally use. I want to say lanolin, but that's not right. But anyway, Euclan. That's it. But I used the soak because I had a sachet left over. And I left it for 10 minutes. I gave it just a little bit longer than I normally would do, just to be sure that it would like really get into the fibres of things. And gosh, it did soak up the water, I have to say. But anyway, it's all gone through. It is beautifully soft. It's comfortable on my body. There is nothing on my arms at all. It is 0 degrees outside as I point to the window. 0 degrees. It is freezing. This is all I have on. What did I say at the start? I am a cold-blooded girl. I have actually got my thermals on underneath my jeans, but on my top, a vest and a pure wool sweater. That's insane, don't you think? So we've dealt with the itchy factor. It is not itchy. You are going to be just fine. Even around my neck. And I was thinking maybe I'd have to wear a shirt or something, but no, honestly, it's totally fine. There's nothing. There's no marks. It's not bothering me. It is. I'll leave it there. We've said enough. It's good. We're good to go with it. So the next thing that I wanted to check out was what was the definition like? And the reason why I chose the plain cream, or I was thinking about this, is you would see everything because it's very flat in colour. And when I was knitting, you could see the irregularities throughout because it's quite hard to keep perfectly even tension. Now my tension is good, I know it is, but I got very lackadaisical with this. The reason is I loosen my gauge more like I've never done it before. I crazy loosened up because I started thinking, oh, this isn't going to fit. I think it might be a bit small. So I loosened up and it had like lots of holes everywhere you could see. And I just kept thinking, just keep the face loose. It's going to be all right. It'll come through blocking. Don't worry at all. This is necklace. They're not holes. This is it. It is absolutely spot on. It is blocked beautifully. Really, really nice. There are no issues anywhere. We've got this little markings here, but that's where the short row shaping is just kind of finished. But you can see, in my opinion, it is spot on and it fits. Now, the coffee run sweater would normally be, if you look at the model, if you look at Kiko, she wears it a little bit looser. I'm actually really happy with this fit. I mean, it's not negative ease. It's just going straight down. Not lots of bagging in it. But this is the fit that I wanted because I've already got quite a lot of oversized jumpers already in my wardrobe. So did it hit the second brief of regular knitting? No imperfections? Yes, it did. I absolutely adore it. I am so pleased. The third thing just to mention is I had 4 skeins of the yarn. So it was a Guernsey 5-ply. The instructions that I needed, I think it was 950 yards, I think it was, which meant I needed 4 skeins, and it should have left me with about a quarter of a skein left over. I've actually got about 3/4 of a skein left over, which is great news for me. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to use that, and I might make myself another something. I'm not sure what yet because I like to consider my knits. I'm not just going to say, oh, I'll knit a hat. I've already got 2 hats. So I'm not sure. I've been fancying some Latvian mittens, bit of colour work. Probably never wear them, but I just fancy the challenge. So I'm going to put it to one side for now because I've got a list for the rest of my 2025 I now want to get through. But it's nice to know I've got that yarn to fall back on, and maybe buy another skein in a contrast colour for a bit of, colour work. I think that'd be quite cute. But yeah, my coffee run sweater is complete. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It took me 20 days knit in the end, and I think it was 2 days when I didn't knit on it at all. It's a painful sweater when you're just going around and around and around because your mind, some people love that. I need my brain to be quite engaged. But having said that, I've got there. I've made it. I love it. The colour at first, I was thinking this is not me. And a couple of my knitting friends were like, that's not you, Luce. You do patterns and colour and texture. And I was thinking, oh gosh. And I did start saying, well, would I be able to dye it if I'm not happy with it? It's staying exactly as it is. I mean, we've got some photos we're going to put in so you can see the B-roll. You can't see it here, can you? But with my jeans, I think that looks absolutely superb. I really like it. Simple necklace, a little bit of makeup, got my lippy on. And I just think it's great. And there's just the right amount of detail, isn't it? So I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. Why wouldn't I? There is nothing that I would change. So I always say, why be harsh? Why am I going to give myself a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because there is nothing that I would change. I would knit it again. I would choose the yarn again. I would choose a different colour yarn and go for a bit of variety. My stomach's rumbling. So there's nothing I'd change. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Thank you to Blacker Yarns for trusting me with your brand name and your reputation. You have exceeded my expectations. I will keep buying from you, and I hope all of our lovely viewers check out your website. We will make sure all the details are down in the description box of where you can go. I'll be linking in the pattern for the sweater. I'll be linking in the knit along if you're interested. Blacker Yarns details will be in there, and where you can get your hands on some yarn like this for yourself. They do sell kits as well. It's definitely worth taking a look. I've been having a bit of a scout around. There's a crochet kit in there, and that's kind of on my 2026 goal to maybe do a bit more crochet. So I'm definitely looking at that. So if you need some inspiration, go over there. There's patterns over there, kits over there, yarn over there, all that beautiful goodness. But for me, all there is to say now is thank you for following me on this knit along project. Take care, have a wonderful day, stay cozy and warm. Bye-bye. Later Lucy coming in. Now I said right back at the start of the video all about the Blacker yarn that you could trace where all of the fleeces came from all over the UK, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But I forgot to tell you, and this is so important for you to know if you're like me anyway, that you can book online via Blacker Yarns website to go to their outlet down south. So you can go to the mill, walk around, have a guided tour, see everything with your own fair hand. You can touch the fibres and they will help you pick things out. And I just think it's such a unique opportunity. Very often all we get to do really is see the end source, but I think it's great that you can go and see it end to end just by simply booking online. If I lived closer, I would.